Yo, what's up guys, Shujinkydink here. This video is all about anti-airing. I get lots of compliments about my anti-airing abilities, and it's one of the better things that I'm good at in this game, so I wanted to make a video about it. So we will be talking about when's the best time to anti-air, when to actually expect an anti-air, and which moves are best to use to anti-air. So stick around and we'll get into all of that. So I want to start off by saying that you should really not try and anti-air off of reactions. You should be anti-airing off of reads and expecting it coming. It is dangerous to do it off reactions. You can try, and if you have very good reactions, then maybe you'll get away with it, but I've found, at least maybe it's just my old man skills, but I have trouble when I try and do it on reaction. But it's not as intimidating as it sounds. There seems to be quite a few patterns when it comes to players jumping, so I wanted to share the most common ones with you right now. So the first one, probably the most common one that I see, is at the start of the match or in certain spacing. So you can see this kind of sweet spot here. If you're kind of hanging around in this area, it's likely an opponent might try and jump at you. So you want to kind of be ready with your anti-air. At the start of the match, they usually start out in this little space, and then of course if you ever kind of notice yourself, you can kind of expect they're going to jump at you and just kind of anti-air them from there. So just be aware of the spacing here, if it's good for your opponent to jump in. And a lot of people who are maybe newer at the game might jump in multiple times to try and get in from like full screen or something if they don't exactly know how the neutral game and stuff works. So the second most common spot that I see people jump is out of the corner. They'll usually do a poke and use the poke advantage to get out and get to the other side. So just kind of be aware and ready with the move. If you see them poke, they'll probably try and jump afterwards and do a crossover punch. A lot of times with crossovers, the move that you'll use to anti-air is a little bit different. Like for example, if I try an uppercut, it doesn't really work that well, as I did mid-screen. But if he does kind of crossing over after this, you can use forward 1 because it's quick and it's got a good hitbox on it. One of the other more common places that I see people jumping is to avoid chip damage. When you get them down to this little small sliver of health, they pretty much can't block anything, otherwise they'll die. So their only option is to jump to avoid things, and a lot of the times you can just sit back, be patient, and wait for the right opportunity, and then just come in with your anti-air to take the match. And the last one, and you're going to see this a little bit more in a high-level play than you will just in everyday matches, but the last reason that people jump is to bait an anti-air. And usually they will use either an armored move if they have one in the air, like a Kano ball, or they'll use a jump kick, which is extremely hard to anti-air, and in some cases impossible. Like I said, you'll see this more in like high-level play, and the reason behind this is because they want to show you that they're not going to be free to anti-airs the whole time, and that you actually might have to respect them. If they're hitting you with jump kicks every time they jump in, then they can start switching to doing jump in punches because they know you're not going to try the anti-air because you're scared of getting kicked in the face. So now let's talk a bit about what makes a good anti-air. Like I said earlier, you'll probably have a few different anti-airs for a few different situations. So the first one is it has to have a big hitbox, cover a lot of area in the sky. A good option for this for most characters is just an uppercut. Every character has one. It's kind of like the standard get the fluff off me move. Some are better than others. Liu Kang's is really good to uppercut. It's got very good active frames, and it hits really high above his head. So it's a really good one to use. So another good trait of anti-airs is it lowers your hitbox. So like you can see right here, Liu Kang's down 3 causes the jump and punch to completely whiff, and then you can whiff punish with a combo on the recovery frames, or just take the advantage if they've already recovered by making it your turn. This one is a little bit riskier to use because if you mistime it or something, then you might actually get hit, but it is an option, especially for characters such as Liu Kang, to have something that maybe allows for a little bit more damage. And that brings us to the last trait of most anti-airs is what kind of damage do you get off of it? Are you able to do a full combo? You want to usually do the one that gives you the most damage. So as you can see there, I just did the forward 2 and just did a small combo afterwards. That gets me a little bit more damage than just a regular uppercut. So 21% as opposed to 16 for an uppercut. So bear that in mind. It isn't as good as the uppercut as far as consistency, but you get a little bit more damage out of it, so that's something else to keep in mind when you're trying to look at potential anti-airs for your character. So you can see that I've switched characters here. We are at Raiden and Alien, and I wanted to demonstrate this because there are a few characters in this game whose jump-in punches are so good that they are nearly impossible to anti-air. So I want to show you the alternative method of dealing with these guys. Alien's crossover jump punch is extremely obnoxious and almost impossible to anti-air with pretty much anything. Your best option against this would be to armor it. So as you can see, just a small combo there. So it's really dangerous to try and do like a forward one or an uppercut or something when going against Alien, because it's very inconsistent, it's very easy for him to beat you out, and then you are eating a full combo because you just tried to hit him out of the air. So just remember that some characters in some matchups you might have to use your armor in different ways than you really intended to, and this is a matchup specific armored move that you would use. I just messed it up right there and I look silly, but and the most important rule of anti-airing is just practice. I go into ranked matches all the time, and all I do is focusing on just trying to anti-air people. I don't focus too much on trying to win the actual match. Of course, it's a nice bonus, but if you work on just hitting people out of the air with your anti-air move that you got, that's how you will get better at this skill. And that's all I have to say about anti-airing. If you think that I missed anything, please post up. And other than that, just happy anti-airing. Make sure to practice. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. I put out videos every single day. I'm always trying to help you guys get way better at this game and entertain you along the way. So hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff. And please enjoy this short clip of Quan Chi Dance Party.